If you own a home in the city of St. Petersburg and it was damaged by Hurricanes Helene or Milton, here's what you need to know before the start of repairs or if you've already done them, and why June 30th is a big deadline. If your property was flagged in the city's damage assessments or you received a flood insurance payout, you may get a letter from the city explaining post-disaster permit requirements. Don't panic, it's not a penalty. It's just making sure that storm repairs follow FEMA guidelines and city code. If you haven't already applied for a permit, you'd be surprised by the items that require permits. Things like demolition and even basics like flooring, drywall repairs, and baseboards that all require permits when they're replaced due to storm damage. The deadline to file and still qualify for waived fees is June 30th. After that, regular permit and inspection fees return. You need to bring photos, a summary of the damage, and your floor layout to the Municipal Services Center downtown. Make sure you get there early. They open at 8 a.m. and there will be a long line. They stop taking drop-in visitors at a certain point well before closing because the process can take several hours. If you haven't applied for a permit, city staff will guide you through the process. If you applied for the wrong permit, the city staff will help correct it. And remember, if your property is in a flood zone, the 49% rule applies. That limits what can be rebuilt unless additional improvements are made, and depending on the amount of needed repairs, your property may be deemed substantially damaged. So what is substantially damaged? It's defined by the city as any combination of repair, reconstruction, or other improvement of a structure where the cumulative cost equals or exceeds 49% of the pre-damaged market value of the structure alone before the improvement or the repair starts. So what that means, you can only spend up to 49% of the value of the structure, not the property, just the structure. And where do they get that market value of the structure? They look at the City of St. Pete tax assessment value of the structure alone provided by the Pinellas County property appraiser. If you disagree with the assessment and of the estimate, you can submit an independent appraisal for the structure performed by a state licensed appraiser and completed within the last 12 months to get the adjusted depreciated value of the structure. The appraisal must be for the structure in its pre-damaged condition. If you're unsure about your property, you can call the city at 727-893-7231. They're expecting questions. They're ready to help. However, those phone call lines are so busy that I personally found it much easier to go see them in person. I spent hours on hold. I spent about 2 hours in the office waiting to see someone, but once you see them, it moves pretty quickly. Navigating repairs after a storm is super stressful. Know the process, learn the deadlines, and bring what you need to make it a lot easier. Thanks.